Today, we're going to be talking about jumping frequency. If that is too high of a grade level word, it means how often you're doing something. So,
I just don't understand. What do you mean by how often? Do you mean could you be more specific?
uh, we're gonna use a time frame of 1 week. How many times should you be jumping per week at different ages, different parts of your life, depending on your physical maturity? If you also don't know what word that means how old are you and how developed your body is. You don't know what develop means. No, I'm just playing. Me and John, we recently we were using a grade level thing to see what grade level we write at.
I'm way too high for business, apparently.
So
I read
John was
not
writing
an
at
academic level, just below an academic level.
John was writing at a 14th grade level, so like a college sophomore. And then we were trying to dumb down what we were saying. Essentially, we dumbed down the whole thing, and it was at an 8th grade reading level. So out of curiosity, I was like, what percent of people read at a 12 or a 13th grade level, college level? It was like 9% or 10% of the US population. Then I was like, John, that's why nobody follows you. It's because 90% of people don't know what the hell you're saying in the world. Then,
This
just out
has
of curiosity,
long been known.
I looked up how many people read at an 8th grade reading level in the US. And half of the people in the US read at or below an 8th grade reading level. So even with everything dumbed down that we say, 1 in 2 people don't understand what we're saying.
Half of you won't understand what we're saying if we dumb it down.
Yeah.
But learning is fun. So I'm gonna use my 13th grade reading level, 14th grade written level, and I'm gonna just say, well, learning's fun.
I have a pro tip. As soon as you come across a word that you don't know,
Did I give you this tip? Because I used to do this in high school or when
I've always done this. I think this is a common tip amongst not dumb people. If
But
you
no one
ever
told me this. I did it myself.
No, I think it's intuitive. It's that's just
Interesting.
human curiosity, especially in this day and age of having computers. If you don't know something, look it up. Ask Google. Now we have AI. You can go and chat GPT and it's even better. So if there's ever a word we say that you don't understand, just pause, look it up, then press
Here's
play.
the thing, dude. I just imagine like some 50-year-old dad on his way to work and he's like gets in a terrible car accident because like you told him to
Siri.
pause the video. And
Hey Siri.
All right, fair enough. Isaiah has coffee, which means this podcast will become progressively more unhinged.
I'm also sleep deprived.
Yeah, it'll start.
I said, hey Siri, and my phone started.
Mine doesn't. I think I turned that off. I don't even know. I gotta plug my phone in. Whatever. Anyways, so we're talking about jumping frequency. I always want to give a pitch to THP because oftentimes people say they don't know who we are. So THP is Translating Human Performance. THPstrength is when Isaiah and I came together, Translating Human Performance, Exceptional Strength, conglomerated and created what today we just shorthand as THP. So you guys, if you're interested, go to THPstrength.com. Head performance coach, other head performance coach. World record holder, I guess. We'll give you that label, but does it matter? No, I'm kidding.
I use that as a hook.
That's your hook.
Guys, I'm not actually a conceited, arrogant prick.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I use that term to get views.
Who even said that to you? Because I am usually
a lot of people.
I
get
usually
a lot
take
of comments,
that.
man.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't go through your comments and read the hate comments, but I'm sorry to hear that.
I see it every now and well, this is actually a testament to how frequently I probably get it. Is I barely read comments, and when I do,
wow,
I see
and you see it every time.
Yeah,
but has it helped your content?
Oh yeah, that's why I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna start saying like even more controversial things like Dexton.
Yeah. Speaking of controversy, I have a video about Tony loaded up, locked and loaded.
What? Wait, pause.
It's a video.
I'm pausing this. Okay, it wasn't that big of a deal. You can tell everyone. You're just explaining the situation.
Yeah. It's a video. Me and Tony have beef, and then it's a pretty objective video. I say what his claims are, what my claims are. It's mainly a video, not even about the beef. It's a video about why I think height checks should be used in competitions instead of max touches. Yeah.
See, for me, I hate height checks because Cohen Carr has a 51-inch vertical. I don't know if you heard 51.5. He actually is the new record holder. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
You look it up.
I don't know where that measurement came from.
I don't
Though.
either. But I just was wondering if maybe you researched it. If you guys have researched the Cohen Carr thing, someone sent it to me on Instagram, and I was like, no way. I mean, he jumps high. He did a 2-hander from the free throw line as a power jumper. Like, he's a freak.
Yeah.
But 51.5, like at his height, what is he, 6'6" or something?
6'5".
6'5". Like at his height of 51, I mean, he'd be well above. That's higher jumping than you and 2 to 3 inches taller. So he'd be like
Yeah.
chest at the rim.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I've ever seen. I don't know. Just a thought. Anyways, but that is Isaiah's reason for why he doesn't like Vertex. Because
I actually sent that to Tony, like when it posted, and I was like,
how often do you guys argue?
I was like, this is why I think height checks are better because shit like this happens.
What did he respond?
I think he liked it, and then he basically said something about like honor system, like there needs to be like an honor like system.
So you guys have mostly worked through this disagreement for the most part ish.
Yeah.
You've agreed to disagree.
I wouldn't even say agree to disagree because I don't agree. But like I don't agree. Agreeing to disagreeing is like you're wrong. I think you're wrong. You think I'm wrong. Let's agree to that. But I think we shouldn't agree to that. I think something needs to happen. Something needs to be.
Wow. I'm so glad that you guys decided to chat instead of like me mediating because I would hate this.
My ADHD is too strong today, by the way.
Dude, look, no, I think it's fine. Well, okay, first off, when the hell did podcasts just become educational, right? Like there's a lot of interesting things. It's more about like it being interesting. It is still educational, just about things that we didn't necessarily talk about. We said we were going to talk about. And when we started this podcast, let it be known, the topic never was sustained. How many times did we ever actually maintain the topic we said we were going to maintain? All of 0 times? I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally 0 times. So I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine. That's what built us the brand that we are today.
Yeah.
This rambling
ADHD.
No, I think it's still relevant. Like you got to think,
is.
People kind of view us like a news source in the space. I mean, we did the math on the number of people that are interested in the topic. I mean, pretty much everyone interested in the topic throughout the week will probably watch one of these episodes or a portion of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? I don't know. That's actually true, but based on the numbers, it makes sense. So I think it's fine. I mean, some of this stuff is really interesting. And in short, I'm between a rock and a hard place. I coach both these guys. They have a disagreement about how they should test their vertical because Isaiah thinks it should be height check. Tony thinks it should be like measuring your reach. Tony has probably a 52 or something like that using a height check, or 53, 52.5. I don't know. Isaiah's officially tested a 51. I think that's what you've hit your head on. So Tony's basically like, well, I did this for years and now my numbers aren't valid because we wanted to use the Vertec. And Isaiah's like, well, I mean, you can do it any way you want. And then they got in a disagreement. I'm just like, I was kind of like, I just heard Tony out and heard him bet. And then eventually I was like, you guys need to talk because this is above my pay grade. Like I am unbiased personally. If I could do it my way, I would use mocap, 3D motion capture. That's the actual way to get it. But I'm not paying $60,000 for 8 cameras and a $10,000 laptop, and I'm not analyzing that data. Like, I just don't. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't really want to. Like, that's not where I want to. Maybe I don't know, but yeah. So that's basically short of it. So the first 10 minutes, if you guys, someone in the comments can post, at 9:30, we start talking about the question of how much should you dunk at each age? The first 10 minutes is just news related to our lives, related to the dunk scene and the beef in the dunk scene. So yeah, we'll get started here. Isaiah, what do you think is the appropriate amount to jump, let's say from prior to puberty, pre-pubescent, during puberty, after puberty? What do you think?
Jump every day until your knees hurt.
That's crazy, but I know you actually believe that.
Yeah.
I think it's I will say this, like I did this long form video for Travis, and it's really interesting. Have you gone through those clips at all and looked at them?
Mm.
It's going to be a banger video. Shout out Travis Slade because he conglomerated all of these videos and it is fascinating. But he was a case of someone like you that jumped every single day for like hours out of love for it, not for any other reason. When he was on his mission in, I think it was Costa Rica. I don't remember exactly, but or maybe it might have been Guatemala. I don't know. He didn't have access to like a proper court though. It was like outdoor, and he jumped
Yeah.
every freaking day during that period of time. And this is when he was like post puberty for sure, or like maybe late stage puberty. It was late stage puberty because he was a very late bloomer. Like Travis in
Yeah.
college, going into college, I think he was 6'1". Then when he came out of or 6 foot, when he came out of his mission, he was like, so what is he now? 6'4" or something like that? 6'2"? I don't know.
I think 6'2".
Okay, whatever it was, and he gained like 20 pounds. Like he developed while
So
on his mission.
he hit an everyday jumping period around when he was at the same physical maturity as me. Because that's probably me when I was like 16, 17. I went from like 5'11" to 6'2", around there.
But what did actually I have my notes right here. I can tell you exactly what it was. It was, and this is in the video, but I'll just rehash it. So he started dunking every day. So 2020 or 2019, I think he's a freshman in college, and he's still in college because he did that mission. But he went into school at 145, 6'1". Did his first 2 years, he ended up breaking his back, and then he like basically didn't jump at all. And then he had a crazy infection in his hand from trying to do like 1,000 pull-ups or something like that in a month. Or a week. I don't know what it was. It was something stupid. And he
Yeah.
got a crazy infection under the callus, and he almost lost his hand. Um, and then he goes on this 2-year mission where 6 months he's in Utah or something like that. And in the mornings he would dunk for an hour. And then for 16 months straight on concrete, outdoor, every morning, 2 hours a day, he dunked a lot. And so, yeah, he came back. He was 6'2", 165. So he gained 20 pounds in groinage. He basically went from, doing occasionally a one-hander during this time to, he said, a 360, a reverse, and off the glass, and probably had like a 40-inch vertical. And this was mostly on like 9'9", 9'10". So when he went back to USU, he was missing windmills on 10 feet. But, that's pretty insane progress. In high school,
And zero weight training?
zero weight training, none, just push-ups. So this is where it gets
So
fascinating.
interesting.
He plateaued for a year, maybe more, at 39.40, would not budge using the jump every day method. Somehow he didn't get hurt, but it's probably because he was very light. Like 165 at 6'2", you're very light. Like that's 20 pounds lighter than me, and you're 3 inches taller. You like
That is, what that reminds me? I feel like that's almost the plateau part, because I think of guys like,
is that where you stopped?
well, the thing is, mine was different because I was weight training at the same time. I never didn't lift weights. So I think that's why my progress was so fast compared to most people. When I look at someone like Lewis is really similar to that. Like basically he's the same height as Travis Slade, like the exact proportions. And he was jumping every day and he weighed like 145.
Lewis has so much potential.
Got up to probably like 155, 160, started weight training. I think Kilgannon was really similar to that too. I think he was in that weight range, jumping every day, didn't get hurt. Started, how old was he? I think he was like 19 or I think he was 20. He was 20 when he started lifting weights, but he was at that like probably 42-ish vert, 44-ish vert, maybe 44. Before he started lifting weights. So that checks out. Like I think that's when guys plateau usually. Like it, I mean, then you have your genetic freaks, like
you have T-Dub, Golden Child.
Yeah, but
that's how, to me, when they don't have to train and they just or they have piss poor training and they just jump like damn near. Yeah, they're like mid or upper 40s, maybe 50 if you're T-Dub. Like just crazy. But I do think there's like Nate will be an interesting case study, Hoop and Nate, because and mind you, obviously genetics play a role in this, like we just said. But Nate has done both. He just jumped for years and years and years, plateaued very hard, but then started to develop, hit puberty, was lifting weights prior to that, just learning technique for the most part. But again, really late bloomer. I think he's in basketball season right now. They should be finishing up pretty soon, which is awesome. I'm really excited. I think he's gonna dunk. He's pretty flat during the year when he's in season. So hopefully after he's done, he'll get his first dunk. But he's like pretty much maturing now. You can really tell. You know,
he's that close to dunking. He's in season. He's definitely it's gonna be like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I hope someone timestamp this in the video and say like Isaiah predicted he would dunk 2 weeks after his season. We'll see if he does. But yeah, it's possible. And so his vertical has gone up quite a bit during this time. But I think the big thing is your technique just is so perfect when you jump that much as a young kid. Like most people get knee pain inevitably by doing it, but I do think that it just dials in really, really good jump technique, especially if you have any mind like of it or you try to fix it at all. Like it ends up being way, 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 way better in the long run. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting case study. Austin Eli is another one. Jumped every single day, got up to that 40 range, and then hit a plateau. And he's a 1 foot jumper. And then we had to increase the weight room and things like that. Yeah. So I would say early on, it's more like this for me. The lighter you are, the more you should lean into jumping every day. The bigger you are, the less you have that luxury. It's more so body weight. And then when it comes to your tendons, it is kind of what you said earlier, like jump until it hurts. It's like, that's when you know to stop and take a break for like a little bit. Donovan did it too. Basically like limited weight room experience, jumped every single day, stopped.
Was also light for his height.
Travis did that too a little bit. But yeah, I think that in the long run, it is really, really important to develop those skills. And then the more broad your background is with those skills, the higher your ceiling is. Like if you only do one sport, I think that is not a good way to go. Like it's important to do other things and jump, not every day, but like jump a lot. Try to jump as much as you can without getting hurt. That's pretty much what it is. And then you will eventually hit a plateau. But here's the thing too, and I want to add this, it's really important to like understand and maximize learning the lifts at an early age, because 1, it has a decreased incidence of injury. 2, you're going to be set up for long-term progress. 3, you generally will develop really good movement patterns, being able to hinge, squat, press, pull. Like that's what Nate did. I think Hoop and Nate's long-term ceiling is really, really high, super high, because he's a multi-sport athlete. He played outside a ton as a kid. He jumped a lot as a kid. He already has like a 31 or 32 inch vertical, and he's not even like
I think he's gonna be like the next evolution of Dom.
I hope so.
Like he'll be like Dom, but with a lifting background. Which is kind of crazy to think about.
Sorry, Bailey's like just wandering around. I don't even know what she's thinking. But yeah, that's my lens on it. I think in the long term,
let's talk about
interesting.
Let's talk about now post-puberty.
Post-puberty? Oh, I think it's weight related. I would not recommend guys do this over the age of like 14. Like if I were going to do it, if I could go back, I would start doing it at like 11, 12.
I would have even started earlier too.
Really?
Yeah. I think if I would have started earlier, I don't think I would have had as many tendon issues potentially.
You're saying just jumping every day?
I think the reason my tendons got so messed up is I went 0 to 100. I read the article and I was like, oh, this is really important. I was going through puberty, like hitting a growth spurt. Started hitting a growth spurt, started jumping every day, started lifting heavy pretty frequently.
Well, I think it also depends too on like 1 foot versus 2 foot. Because like as a 1 foot jumper, I kind of did that in high jump and that was not good. So I think your volumes have to be lower as a 1 foot jumper. And I do think it's weight determinant, or weight dependent.
Yeah.
I think so post puberty as a 1 foot jumper, you cannot do that. You cannot do that unless you weigh like 130 pounds. I think it's a stupid decision to do. I would not recommend that. As a 2 foot jumper, I still don't think I would recommend it. Like I would stick to having 2 days a week max and trying to stay healthy while getting as much volume as you can as possible. I think as soon as you go from 2 to 3, you're cooked. And as soon as you don't do proper load management protocols, you're also in trouble. You know, if you're not doing slow squats, if you're not doing ISOs and you're post puberty and you're trying to jump every day, if you're trying to jump 3 days a week, you're going to get hurt. I've seen it so many times that it's like an inevitable. It's inevitable because jumping is so intense. Like in track, you take 8, maybe 10 takeoffs a week. That's it. And maybe like a very low plyo volume during the week. Some coaches go heavy on that stuff, but that's pretty much what guys do. In dunking, we take 60 to 80. So we're just 6xing that. And the more output you have, the higher risk it is. And you've seen it firsthand. Like how many times have you hurt yourself having a session once a week? You know what I mean? I just think it's output dependent and weight dependent, and your tissues are developed at that point, and there's a high likelihood that you're going to get hurt very quickly. That's my personal lens on it. I think you have other ways to work on things, whether it's technical. You just have to be more patient. Like if you're post puberty, you have to be more patient. It's not like you're going to have the developmental hormones that, you know, a 15-year-old does to see those types of gains, you know? But yeah,
it does depend on the person too. Like there's some instances of guys that are like indestructible later on, like Hideaki.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So he's interesting because he was a skateboarder. So he literally did depth drops from and parkour, and he did depth drops from.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the indestructible guys are usually they've been doing something. Like they're not slobs.
It didn't happen overnight. Like they did something to make them like that, you know, whether it was, I don't know, they were track and field athletes.
Or even there's guys that are like 30 that play basketball every day.
Yeah.
But just never have jump trained.
Well, even then, dude, a lot of those, like think about Jeremiah Davis, dude. Jeremiah dunked with us one time for like a proper session, and he has never had any issues. And literally the next day he was destroyed. Like he texted me and he's like, dude, my whole body hurts. So it's like,
that makes me so happy.
Why?
Because like dunking, it almost like validates
what we've thought.
That
what you've thought
dunkers are freaky because of the nature of what we do. Like, I think
track yourself at the ground.
It's like track athletes are freaky in their own regard, but dunkers are also freaky in their own regard as well. Like the jump volumes and intensities and like how high they jump and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, I think the high level basketball dunkers are the most impressive.
Really?
Those are okay. So like think about
like guys like Ja.
Yeah, but like the guys that have a full practice and play schedule and still go out and have sessions.
That blows my mind. 3 times a week. Or the guy that I talked about. I can't really talk about that.
Yes.
Like fully, but that just blew my mind.
Yes.
It blew my mind. Bro, and then I watched, you know, there was games like the next day.
No way.
I was like, what the hell? This is crazy.
You would die. You would die if you had to do that.
Literally blew my mind. It also just made everything make sense. I was like, that's why these guys are in the NBA. They're indestructible.
Yep. And when they are destructible, they're Zion, Ja, every superstar right now.
Yeah.
They're just so explosive, but they miss half the games.
Yeah.
You know what is really interesting though about that is there's like a direct correlation between how explosive you are regularly and how likely you are to get hurt, which makes really good sense. And you look at Zion, what does he play? Like 50% of his games? You look at Ja, 50% of his games. Anthony Edwards doesn't really pop off like that. Like he doesn't dunk every play. We watched him in the final or in the playoffs, and he might have had one dunk the whole series. Like it wasn't many. I don't know if it was one, but it wasn't many. You look at like these superstars that play every game, and they really, unless they're 6'11", they don't dunk that much. They really don't.
Yeah.
And that allows them to play, what is it, 80 some games or something like that.
That is a good point, because I mean, I think back.
I don't get to watch my favorite players. They don't, because
like I think back to high school, right? I mean, there was a period of time where I was playing every day. And the reason I had issues is because I was dunking 3 hours a day on top of that. So I think if like, you decrease that, if it turns into like 5 dunks that are not maximal effort every day, things become a lot more manageable.
Yep. Like layup lines, you're not feeling it, so you just
And then
don't.
lifting is feel good lifting, essentially.
Like you lift once or twice a week. That's easy. You can handle that. And you just
I think you'd
jump
have to build up a baseline. I think for me to be able to handle that, I think I would have to take like in the off season is like just build a massive reserve, like have sessions and stuff like that. And then that's always when I feel superhuman, is when I'm like in really good jumping shape, kind of like right now. And then I go and play basketball. Like right now, I will be able to handle like basketball like really well, just because my resilience in terms of dunking and stuff like that is really high. Like feels like I have like a big tank.
You're like a Durango with a 20-gallon tank.
Yeah. It's like an overbuilt car, like an overbuilt car that you're gonna, but then you use it to daily drive.
Yeah, literally. And that's what we talked to Ben about, is like, these guys don't try that hard. They're pretty much just going through the motions. And then when you're trying to jump higher, you're trying as hard as you freaking can 20 times in an hour, right? Once a week. But it's just that the intensities are like double or triple. Yeah, it's just crazy. So
you look at someone like Sutherland, that's the level of like, or guys like Gee, basically any freak dunker is that NBA level of resilience. Cause it's like, bro, Sutherland was playing multiple games a day, doing trick dunks in the games.
Yeah.
As a 1-footer. Like,
we need to go back and watch some of his clips. I don't know. How's he doing? Has anyone checked in on him?
He just started jumping again.
No way.
Look, hold up. I'm gonna pull up his distract the fans while I pull up the footage.
So my dog's here, and she really is annoying me, and I have to keep petting her so she doesn't go to the window and whine. And it's only in line with everything that's previously happened, which is that Bailey ruins every podcast.
Ready?
Oh, let's see it. Yeah.
This was 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then this was, I think, yesterday.
He just Eastpaid with a damn near torn Achilles. You think he's going to switch to 2-foot now?
Maybe.
I mean, 1-foot's obviously like way more intense, so
it'll probably, his 2-foot might get really good just from having to like
too. Yeah.
Rep it out.
Yeah, it just takes time, I feel like, for things like that.
I mean, 1-footer is Kador. He came back from Achilles rupture. Was jumping off one.
Such a violent injury. It's just brutal. It's just a brutal injury.
Yeah.
Sucks. Scary. But anyways, I feel like it's a good place to stop. In short, the younger you are, you need more ladder, like get a diverse experience, do a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. As you get going through puberty, that's when you're going to see the most gains. You're like on steroids. Post-puberty, you got to be really, really careful. It's kind of like inversely related. Yeah. The older you get, the less likely you are to jump every day. And as always, build up really slow. Pay attention to your body. If something hurts, stop doing it. That sounds stupid to say, and I always thought it was dumb, but it is very true. Specifically your knees. Your muscles you can push, but your knees, don't push through that. You'll regret it. And I do think that building a good base in the weight room is really important, regardless of what age you're at. And there's good evidence to support that. Very good evidence.
Sign up for THP when your knees start hurting.
It always works. It's what everyone ends up doing.
Like a really fast track jump really high is jump every day until your knees start hurting, then sign up for
yeah. And then we'll take over. But yeah, anyways, that's the video, guys. We have a group call here in about 15 minutes. We're gonna get going, but we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Goodbye.
Ciao.